So Forest back in action after resting for 3 weeks during the international break and players being rested for the Europa League match. So this Villa game surely is a slam dunk. Welcome to Forest versus Villa. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to the preview for Forest versus Villa. East versus West, Biggie versus Tupac, Forest versus Villa, 2 stars versus 1 star. I don't really mind Villa though, I'll be honest with you. Make sure you've liked, make sure you've hyped, make sure you subscribed, and make sure you check out the merch store because I love this guy. Like, would anyone who's old enough to have seen Pierce, Prime Pierce, does anyone believe, let me know in the comments, that Pierce couldn't have played 2 games a week? That Pierce would want to be rotated? That Psycho himself would want to be rested? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. But anyway, I mean, what I'd give for Stuart Pearson's team. But anyway, we reminisce too much on this channel. We really do. Let's talk about what's coming up. And it's Forest versus Villa. And look, I don't know how I feel about this one. I've not been bothered about this game because I don't see this as a must-win game or anything like that. However, after West Ham slapped Wolves around yesterday, Tottenham will hopefully lose to Sunderland on Sunday as well. But we really need to get something out of this game. I think a draw is a very good result. I'd be happy with the draw as long as we can beat Burnley. Oh, God. I mean, us beating Villa and then losing to Burnley would be so Forest. But look, Villa's form has not been good in the Premier League as of late. They have had a lot of injuries to their midfielders, but we've seen the likes of Tielemans coming back in and a couple of other players, McGinn's back in as well. Before they came in, they'd lost 3-1 to Man United, 4-1 to Chelsea, and they got slapped up 2-0 by Wolves. But when players started to come back, you saw them beating West Ham 2-0. Obviously, they beat Bologna 3-1 in the Europa League as well. And I didn't see Emery resting any of his players. His players will be ready for this game because apparently only our club can't play 2 games a week. But anyway, I've said plenty on that stuff. I don't want to repeat myself. From our perspective, I think the key to this whole game is the fact that Neo, Mr. Anderson, the one, is back. I think we missed him heavily against Porto. Obviously, he was suspended. It wasn't an injury. So he should be back in this squad and we should have some more kind of bite in that midfield. I love Dominguez. I think Yates has done really well when he's come in this season. But there is a class difference between, you know, him and those 2 other players. In terms of Villa's injuries, just to let you know, Kamara's still out. I really like Kamara, so I'm glad he's out. You've got Sancho, who's crap anyway, but he's out. He's doubtful for them. From our perspective, it's nothing new. Bolly, I mean, we'll never see Bolly again. Will we play for Forest? You got John Victor out. You got Jair Cunha still 50-50 on it. He may be back for this one, but even if he is, it'd be bench, I think, at best. And then Savona, I've literally forgotten about him, but he's out for the rest of the season. So with all that in mind, what the hell's Pereira going to do? I think this may be one of the easiest team selections to do, full stop. Now, on the goalkeeper situation, if he plays Ortega, I'm fine with it. If he plays Sells, I'm fine with it. I actually like both our keepers at the moment. I can't pick much between them. And I wouldn't say anyone had an agenda if they picked Sells or if they picked Ortega. I think you can make an argument for both. But I think Sells will start this game. Players I never want to see again. Marato, you can do one. And this idiot Ndoi, he can do one. Outside of that, he's going to rip up a lot of what he did in the Europa League. So obviously, I think Zach Abbott, who I thought was all right. Some people said he wasn't, though. Let me know what you thought of Zach Abbott against Porto. We have to see Murillo in defence and Milenkovic in defence. It just feels to me at the moment, if those 2 are playing with someone else, aka Marato, it doesn't work. But when they play together, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So those are 2 I want to see there. And then Ola Einar to come back in. And Nico Williams, who I thought was quite anonymous when he came on against Porto, bring him back to where he's been absolutely fantastic on the left-hand side. He's then going to go in midfield with, I think, Yates and Dominguez will get dropped. So let's just move them off the screen here. And obviously, I think Sangare will came on. He got a loosener 15 minutes or so in the other game. And Anderson comes back. McAtee will be McAtee will be dropped or rotated, whatever the correct political word is these days. Gibbs White, who was anonymous at Porto, I think he goes into the 10. And then we're going to see probably Hutchinson on the right, and then I think Hudson-Odoi comes back in. I need a big game from Hudson-Odoi. I really do. He's got one in him. He's got one in him. Maybe this is the one. And then up front, it's between Wood and Jesus. Now, if I'm being objective about it, I thought Jesus was more impactful than Wood in the Porto match. I thought Wood didn't get any service. Jesus scored a goal. So you could argue about putting Jesus in. I like Jesus. But it's got to be Woodinho. It has. He's got a part to play in this season. I am fully convinced of that. Whether it's against Villa, whether it's Porto, whether it's, I don't know, in the final of the Europa League, or one can dream, there's a part that he's going to play, and we will never forget it for as long as we live. Okay, maybe that's a bit too dramatic. But that's the team I'm almost certain Pereira is going to go for. The only one maybe he switches around is Hutchinson. Maybe he saw something he liked in Dan and Doi. If he did, Pereira, man, you need to go to Specsavers. But do you agree with that team? Would you guys make any changes? I mean, for me, I probably would say I'd be all right with that team. I have no major issues or concerns with that team. Maybe Wood, Jesus debate. Who would you go with, Wood or Jesus? Let me know in the comments. So that's what I think it will be. Now, how does this game play out? Well, clearly Forest are going to win because Pereira started thinking about this game at half-time when he subbed off the likes of Chris Woods and Murillo, etc., etc. And he self-confessed that in the post-match interview. I say take Villa lightly at your peril. Yes, their form in the Premier League has been 3 losses and a win in their last 4. But trust me, now they got their midfielders back, it's a different outfit. But we have our midfielders back as well for this game in, of course, Elliot Anderson. And we need a big game from him. And at the City Ground, we tend to do well against Villa and rubbish at Villa Park. I don't know, guys. Like, my head is saying a loss, I'll be honest with you. But come 1:58 p.m. tomorrow, I'm going to be deluded and think we're going to win. So I'll meet somewhere in the middle. I'm going to stick with a draw. We don't really score goals at home. 0-0. And I'd probably take that. As long as we beat Burnley, I'd take a 0-0, and we beat Porto. We take a 0-0. Because if you look at our current form, let me just double check the table just before I say something silly, right? Forest in the league form, we haven't lost in our last 3 games. And technically, if you chuck in the Europa League, that's 4 games. We haven't lost since Midtjylland. And if you ignore the Midtjylland game, we haven't lost in 5 because of the Man City game. So, look, the form is okay, but it's a bit too many draws. But do you know what? We've seen some strange things happen. Arsenal lost to Bournemouth today. Are they going to bottle it? Could we see Villa bottling it as well when it comes to the Champions League thing? They did that last year alongside us. And is this going to be a pre-match warm-up for the semi-final in the Europa League? Who knows? Get your score predictions in. Make sure you go check out the merch store. I love this t-shirt. There's 15% off with code FFTV right now. I'll leave you my other Premier League predictions on the end screen. So if you're bored and want some more content, go check that out. Please do support us on that. And we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.